my name is Melissa Carroll, and I would like to talk about regular and irregular verbs in the past tense. I will talk about 3 different ways to pronounce the regular ed endings in the past tense, and I will also talk about those irregular verbs that you will need to know.
I know you can say look, looked, but can you say take, taked? No, you can't. It's take, took. The simple past has 2 forms, regular verbs and irregular verbs. Regular verbs have spelling rules. With regular verbs, you simply add ed or d depending on if there's already an e there. For example, talk, you simply add ed for talked. But waste has an e already, so you add d for wasted. If the verb ends in a consonant preceded by a vowel like stop, that's consonant, vowel, consonant, T-O-P, then you double the final consonant. It becomes stop plus P plus ED for stopped. If there's a Y, you change it to an I and add ED when the Y is an I sound, like study, studied. But when the Y has a Y sound, it's acting like a consonant. Enjoy, play, these are Y sounds, and so you simply add ED. Irregular verbs don't take the ed or d endings. You must memorize them, and there is a big list, but it's totally worth it because these verbs are so commonly used in the English language that it's worth it for you to take the time to learn them. They'll also serve you with the more difficult times like the present perfects and the past perfects because they need those irregular verbs in the past participle form as well, which we will look at in a moment. For example, some examples of regular verbs would be dance, danced, smile, smiled. Some example of irregular verbs would be fall, fell, feel, felt. Let's practice. So we have 3 regular verbs here that take ed form. First one is walk, walked, and the past participle is have walked. So what are the past and past participle of play and need? That's right, play, played, have played, need, needed, have needed. The pronunciation of ed endings has 3 different endings. There's a voiced ending, an unvoiced ending, and an id ending, depending if the verb ends in a d or t sound. So what's a voiced ending? If you put your fingers up on your throat and touch your throat and you pronounce v, like live, v, or m, the M sound, these are voiced sounds. You hear a vibration. You feel it with your fingers against your throat. But if you go over to the unvoiced or the voiceless words and you pronounce with your fingers against your throat still, pronounce t, s, k, ch. These are unvoiced. There's no vibration there. So we call them voiceless. And then the id is just when the verb ends in a d sound. And the sound is important, or a t sound. There may be an e on the end, for example, but if it's a silent e, it becomes id. Let's see. Play becomes played because the y is a vibration, e. Stop becomes stopped. And taste has a t ending, even though there's an e, so you simply add d, but it becomes tasted. Sneeze, sneezed, look, looked, need, needed, try, tried, watch, watched, decide, decided. So the past participle of the verb always requires the helping verb has, have, or had, depending on the time. So she has traveled to Japan before. Has is the helping verb, and traveled is the past participle. I have been to France twice. Have is the helping verb, been is the past participle. Common irregular verbs. So wake up is a common irregular verb. See if you can put that in the past and past participle. Woke up, have woken up. What about ride? Rode, have ridden. And hit? Hit, have hit. So there's a few more. Let's see. So here we have begin, began, have begun. You try for the next three. Choose, dig, and fight. Did you get them right? Choose, chose, have chosen. Dig, dug, have dug. Fight, fought, have fought. Pop quiz. Write the past tense form. Here you can just do the simple past for this exercise. There are 20 verbs. Either add ed or change the form if it's an irregular verb. Be mindful of the spelling rules that you've already learned and if you need to double the consonant or not. Okay, let's see. How did you do? Number 1, walked. 2, shook. 3, fell. 4, swam. 5, planned. Double consonant. 2 ends. 6, starred. Double consonant. 7, taught. 8, shrank. 9, carried. You see that Y becomes an I, and then you add ed. 10, sought. 11, bit. 12, enjoyed. 13, felt. 14, rang. 15, arose. 16, shopped. You had to double the consonant. 17, played. 18, waited. It's that T ending sound, waited. And 19, stared. Not to be confused with number 6, which is starred. Number 19, stared. 20, stood. Good. Don't forget to review. The end.